All right. So, making a long story short for our lovely Utah Jazz. Yes, Chris. Yes, we are we're going through it, right? The injury to the one and only Taylor Hendricks was obviously not enjoyable. Seeing Larry Markkinen shoot 4-15 from the field was not enjoyable. Seeing Walker Kessler be aggressive and get a double double was enjoyable though. Um, Colin Sexton was efficient from the field, right? You know, uh, Keontae George continued his poor shooting, 33% from the field, 14% from three. And we saw 5 minutes of Filipowski, right? I mean, he didn't get to score, but he missed the one 3-pointer that he took. But he had 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 personal fouls. I mean, that's something. I read when I read that, I read Sexton 9-11. I said, what the heck does he have to do with 9-11? Then I remembered he shot 9 of 11 from the field. Definitely needed this efficient game. He was 2 of 3 from 3, helped boost his 3-point percentage up. I think that puts him at 40% on the season because he was 0 of 2 last game and then shot none the first game of the season. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Keontae George was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Larry was 6 of 6, 3 of 5 from 3-point range, but he was literally 1 of 10 inside the arc, which is like nasty to think about. But he did have 17 points, 4 offensive rebounds, and 9 total rebounds to go on with 2 assists, no steals, no blocks, only 1 turnover. So that was nice. Even though that efficiency, goodness, was rough. You know, and then, of course, Taylor continued to struggle outside of the injury, right? 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3-point range. Did hit both of his 2 free throws, had 2 out of his 3 rebounds being offensive to go along with 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover. You know what I'm saying? 2 total points. Really, 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 really good defense. The offense just wasn't hitting. Like I said, Walker Kessler, 6 of 11 from the field. He did miss both of his free throws today, right? So we took a step back there. But 11 rebounds, 4 of them being offensive. He had 1 assist, he had 2 steals, he had 2 blocks, and no turnovers, right? 12 points, box score plus minus of a -3. We had Keontae tied for the worst box score plus minus on the team, and he had the worst out of the starters with a -10. He was 6 of 18 from the field, which doesn't sound terrible, right? It's not a good game shooting from the field. We do get that. But him ending up shooting 1 of 7 from 3-point range is the more concerning part, because if we look at his overall averages, and I can pull those up, I don't know if I want to pull those up actually. It's not the greatest, put mildly. He was 4-4 from the free throw line. Like I said earlier, though, he did have a total of 5 rebounds and 5 assists, 1 steal. He did have 3 turnovers, but that's, still a positive assist to turnover ratio. So we gotta, take the good with the bad. 17 total points in that one, by the way. And then, like I said, starting, we also had Colin Sexton in 27 minutes. He played the second least minutes out of starters. Obviously, Taylor Hendricks played less than him, but he played significantly under 30 minutes at 27.5, basically. 9 of 11 from the field, 81%. Needed that. 2 of 3 from 3. Needed that. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Definitely needed that. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, only 2 turnovers. Definitely starting to get things more in check, feel more of a rhythm, and slowly grow things. He was the only starter that had a positive box score plus minus, by the way, at a positive 1. And then looking at the bench, we had Jordan Clarkson in his 27 minutes, 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Sat there and said, Keontae, you know what? I won't let you go poor from the field alone. I'll do it with you. And that's exactly what he did. But he did have 4 rebounds. He had 1 block, 1 turnover. Box score plus minus was tied with Keontae as well, by the way, at a -10. Then we had the one and only Patty Mills getting 10 minutes of burn. Didn't score, but he did have 2 assists and 1 steal. We saw John Collins 5 of 13 from the field, in about 19 and a half minutes. Really weird minutes for him. It's interesting to see how things shake out with him. He was 3 of 6 from 3 though, right? So that was positive. That was necessary considering the fact that we also shot 10 of 35 from 3-point range. With Jordan Clarkson and Keontae George combining for 2 of 13. If you add Taylor Hendricks' numbers in there, that's 2 of 16. Yes, that's right. He did not hit any. Remember, if we look at our top 3-point shooters, though, they hit almost all of them. They hit between Larry Markin and Colin Sexton and John Collins, they were 8 for 14. Yeah. But John Collins, aside from that, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 2 turnovers, total of 16 points, which was the most off of the bench, and had a box score plus minus, which was the third worst at a -8. Then you have Bryce Sensabaugh playing 12 to 13 filler minutes, not attempting a field goal, and then Kyle Filipowski, like I said, attempting 1 field goal but not hitting. The only active player that didn't play was Fee, so that's something, I guess. We said I'm impressed with Kyle, except the shot looks ugly. Good hustle. Chris Bay said, shout out John Collins. Low-key feels like he's very underrated on a team so far. That's fair. His effort is contagious. I'll say that. Now, so far this season, his overall field goal percentage has been abhorrent, but I can't get too hard. I can't play too harshly on that because everybody's field goal percentage has been mid for the most part, right? Lowry had a great, a superbly efficient first game, and these past 2 games have been bad, put mildly. Walker Kessler, I guess, is the only guy that's had 2 for 3 games be good, probably, from like scoring and rebounding, everything all together. There's been a couple guys that haven't had great games, but also haven't had terrible games. But, I mean, there's no point in talking about them because they didn't do much of anything that changed things per se. Sexton's for real, the glue guy. Yeah, absolutely. Sexton bridges a lot of gaps. Tay said, I hate y'all, Kyle. He's so inefficient. He got hot for about 30 seconds. That's the thing. He's like taller Jordan Clarkson. No, that's a bad comparison. I had to try it, though. He has his moments where he shoots really good. Like, overall on this one, shooting 3 of 6 from 3 is good. It was necessary, right? But when you take into account that he shot a total of 5 for 13, that means he went 2 of 7 inside the arc, which is questionable, put mildly. You know what I'm saying? His inefficiency definitely will not raise his tradability, unfortunately. And we're just going to have to see how things play out, especially as he gets later into his contract year. I think that things will become more favorable and more possible for him to get traded because we'll eat up most of that salary regardless. Let me see. Not a fan of John, really. Yeah, feel trauma for Taylor. Yeah, it was a very rough spot for Taylor. Counter probably had the worst box score plus minus in the league. Could you look that up? Give us an update real quick, Ray. The worst box score plus minus. Let's see if stats. It depends on how up to date Stats Muse is, right? Stats Muse or Stat Muse, excuse me. All right, so let's say who has the worst box score plus minus in the NBA? Hopefully that question isn't too. Woo! Well, that's not fun. I'll tell you what, right? It's not giving me the specific who, if I switch it to averages. Overall, a fun fact, he does have the worst box score plus minus across 3 games, like from any single game at a -37. The closest next behind him was Scotty Barnes at -33 and Michael Bridges at -33, respectively, against the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. So, I mean, do with that information as you will. If we can, yeah, it's not going to give me an average. I thought it was. Well, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Goodness, 24, 25. I'm afraid to look at these numbers. I wish I didn't look at these numbers. I definitely wish I didn't look at these numbers. Sheesh. That efficiency from the preseason just went right out the window. Ooh, that's it's actually impressive. Just to put things into add a little context to things, offensive rating is 29th in the league at 101.1. Defensive rating is 121.9, which is 28th in the league. Net rating negative 20.7. Obviously, this is only 3 games, but it is a pretty strong indicator. Our 3-point percentage has also been terrible, 27.9. So that's going to be one thing to keep an eye on going forward, because that will actually affect how competitive we can be in games, right? Losing games is one thing. Getting clapped in every single game you play is not preferable in any way, shape, or form, though. We said John's trying to shoot his way back into the starting lineup. He's trying to do everything, but the issue is if the ball doesn't go in the net, it's hard to vie over Walker Kessler, who's doing everything that he's been required to and been expected to in his 3rd year, taking that next step forward. We said, bro, the Jazz game. Yeah, it was. We are not getting a peanut for Clarkson. Yeah, we're not getting a peanut for either one of them, unfortunately. Keontae has so much pressure on him, and everyone thinks he's going to be our main piece. Yeah, I think it's unjustly placed on his shoulders, a burden that he shouldn't have to carry like that. Keontae has some, what was said, tough to be a Jazz fan right now. Tankathon? Yeah. Not like things can't get worse right now. Anyways, well, we could lose by 30 every game. I definitely thought this Dallas game was going to be a blowout. It was a lot more competitive from the scoreboard standpoint than I was ever expecting. So I guess that's something to be happy about, playing meaningful minutes. But when you have Taylor Hendricks go down with injury the way that he did, it kind of puts a massive damper on things. Put mildly, of course. Box score plus or minus 58. Love to see it, man. Just makes you smile inside, right? And by smile, I mean make you want to gouge your eyes out. Overall, by the way, he's shooting 15 field goals a game, which is up by 4.1 from last season. His field goal percentage is down from 39 to 23%, and his 3-point percentage is down from 34% down to 28.5%, while attempting 1.1 more threes a game. Just in case you were wanting to know. Not sure, Don't really have a particular agenda with Keontae I'm trying to push, except that we need to, sooner than later, determine whether he's positive or negative for this team. Because, yeah. He said, let's all hold hands and rejoice in a massive clanter in the toilet this season and hope it changes next year. I hope so. I can't watch this next year. Absolutely not. Happy the Jazz losing for Cooper Flag. Well, need it, I guess. My analysis is this. We suck. True. I think Keontae didn't drink his beet juice before this game. I don't think he drank it yet this season. I'm not going to lie. Because all 3 games have not been the finest showing for him. I was hoping for a fun losing season, but we're all getting diddled with injuries. Yeah. Wish Keontae would be like the one Warriors game where he had 9 threes. Well, you can't have that every game, silly goose. He's going to flash it one time and then probably never show you it again. What made you want to be a Jazz fan? Yeah. Colin Sexton, man. Colin Sexton single-handedly convinced me to watch Jazz basketball. Not to say I didn't like the Jazz before. I was just kind of indifferent. But I grew up being a Charlotte Hornets fan. So you can imagine that being mid and being terrible is something that I'm very well versed in. And so when the Jazz decided to blow things up and start shaking things up, I was like, oh, this is very interesting to cover, very interesting to focus on. I was like, yeah, if Colin moves, are you going to move? I'll say no. unless something like absolutely crazy happens. Unless there's like a world where the front office turns on every player and does every player dirty, because that's one thing I don't do, right? I understand the NBA is a league. I understand it's a business. At the end of the day, got to make money, keep things afloat. Makes sense, right? But there's a proper way to go about dispatching players and trading people as opposed to other, you know, like when people find out that they got traded and they didn't even find out from their own general manager or their own coach, they found out from a random person walking on the street, or they didn't even find out from their agent and them both found out when they just happened to go on Twitter. Like those sorts of things rub me the wrong way really bad, because it's like there's no reason to do that, especially when it's like a good player, like a really, really solid player who's effectively just taken steps and done everything possible for the team. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Cool. But I think they deserve the level of respect and professionalism to just let them know, like when the trade's been done, hey man, we're shipping you out. It was a pleasure having you. Some things just didn't line up the way we wanted to. Da, da, da. Just have that conversation instead of them having to eventually answer at a press conference in front of people that they were not expecting to have to talk about a topic regarding themselves. But that's probably the only thing that would make me feel some sort of way, because honestly, that's the reason why it's hard for me to support the Panthers football wise right now. We ain't getting a top 5 pick. NBA scriptwriters won't allow it. Nah, the nastiest thing, Chris, and I said this before, but I'm keep saying it. With our luck, the Utah Jazz will end up in a world where they're a bottom 3 team record wise, and then they end up with like the 7th pick in the draft. Like that would effectively tell me there's no need to tank next year, because we're not going to get lucky. So let's make ourselves comfortable and do what we can with what we got. You know. Let's see. To be fair, sir, you are the top Utah Jazz channel. Are they very here? Well, I am appreciative of that, Chris. Hoops Nerd would have something to say about that, but I'm very appreciative of my lovely audience and the boys always tuning in all the time. It's always y'all. It's always y'all. It's always fun also when you recognize the names of everybody in the chat. Like I don't think I could ever do a live stream where there's like 10,000 people watching. Like would the money be significantly better? Of course, right? But at the same time, it would just be me reading off of a screen and not actually knowing who I'm talking about. Like when Lee pops up, when Chris pops up, now when Tyson pops up, you know what I'm saying? When Incognito pops up and everybody, it's names that I'm familiar with, right? So it makes things more interesting, more comfortable. There's more of a personal level. And then when I remember people's takes and people's teams, even if they don't like the Utah Jazz or they have like a preferred team outside of them, like I remember those sort of things. And so I like a little save file that gets filed away, which makes things interesting. You know what I'm saying? But where was I? Logic, you said who starts the next game? That is the question, because you could just be generic and go John Collins, or you could say, you know what, this is opening minutes, nonsensically so, for what's his name, Kyle Filipowski, because realistically, the only games that Kyle's really gonna immediately like guarantee crack the rotation is with injury, and for better or for worse, we found an injury. It'll probably be like 2-3 games. And I think that this will be the perfect opportunity to give him some quick and early burn, or I'm not saying play him 30 minutes a night. No. But if you want to give him 20, 25-ish, this would be the perfect opportunity to. And of course, I think Drew Eubanks is going to clean up some minutes, and John Collins, of course, is going to get a little bit more of a bump, and along with Cody Williams, because Cody Williams is going to get minutes anyways, but this just gives them more of a viable way and more clear minutes to slide his way, I guess is the better way to put it. He said, let's talk about Sexton organizing the team and changing the game, all to get subbed out for 9 minutes left in the first play, at least having the ball taken out of your hands, all of them to lose. Yeah, that's going to be the theme of the season. And it's also part of the reason why Colin doesn't get the love or respect that he deserves around the league, because people will always just look at him as, that guy that can start, but he should be a 6-man. He should be a 6-man. People don't say that about Jalen Brunson anymore, because Jalen Brunson was able to prove himself and then made a deep playoff run with New York, right? I don't know if that Colin Sexton will ever actually have that opportunity to go that far and prove that that's him or prove that is not him. You know what I'm saying? I think that kind of sucks. Lisa, we're the shitter to be a quitter, to be a pooper for Cooper. It's a heck of a saying, man. But yeah, put mildly, that's more or less what it is. To be fair, so you, thank you. We said we're never getting a good pick since we traded Dominique Wilkins a while back for 3 pick. Well, hey man, that's how it comes out sometimes. Nobody's a surefire hit. We have I think Sexton needs to be number one person with the ball in his hands, shot creating, and have Lowry catch and shoot. It would definitely be more efficient than what we're seeing, right? Seeing Keontae George burp up 15 shots and shoot 23% from the field is not going to win you games. That's not a recipe for success at all. Like bar none. All because they needed the ball to be in Clarkson and George's hands, who single-handedly sold LMAO. Come on, this is bad. Yeah, it is. Coleman Sports, he said, prayers to Jalen Hendricks. He's been playing so hard, especially on defense. It sucks, man. Yeah, and I was really hoping that he would be able to get his footing offensively and find a way to get the job done, and it just hasn't played out just yet. He said after the event, was good, Eugene? Yes, sir. After the events tonight from last game and the Hendricks injury, Sexton showed that he's the true leader of the team and gets destroyed in the stick. Yep. And he never complains about it. That's the other thing. That's the other half of leadership, right? How do you deal with adversity, even when it comes from your own front office, your own coaching staff? And he responds the exact way I would love for him to. What's good, Spence? It's a pleasure to have you in here. What's it like being back from, Lowry's home nation, man? I know it's there's some positives here, but there's also the lack of some things in America that you were able to experience, I'm sure, over there. Lee said, hit that like button and sub. I'm gonna put some ice cream on basically for here. Lee, DM me back. I was checking on you like a week and a half ago because I hadn't seen you in the comments of any of my videos, and I just wanted to make sure how your new job was going and that sort of thing. So whenever you have the opportunity, definitely DM me back, brother. Let's see. Scripter said Michael Jordan cursed us, and the Wi-Fi in the arena is Jordan's push off. Crazy. You think we're gonna win a chip ever? I would like to think so. If things play out the way that I think they do in my mind, right? If a chip doesn't come, we have 6 to 7 years of a really strong championship window, right? And that would be okay with me. Just being able to go out there and play every night and leave it all out there on the table and saying we did the best that we could this year and we just fell short, I'm fine with that. But when we have continuous years where we can't do that, that's where the problems lie for myself personally. This man gives concise and accurate information on the top of his head. That's the best part, man. You just gotta have that supercomputer. That's the thing. And sometimes I do get caught off. Every now and then I get caught off guard. But the one thing is, and the most important thing that I would argue is whenever you're giving information to people, number one, if it's an opinion, make it abundantly clear that it's an opinion off the jump. This is my personal feelings about based on X, Y, and Z information, right? Number two, if you end up being wrong, inquire as to how wrong you are so you can get more information regarding it, and then own up to being wrong. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. You just got to learn from them and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Maybe win like 2190 would be a crazy time to win. That would actually make me sick to my stomach. Did you hear how severe it was? I'm looking for a timeline, actually. That's the thing. And I don't know that we've gotten one yet. Let me check real quick. Taylor Hendricks injury timeline. I don't know how. It was originally called a dislocation, officially, or according to what I was made aware of. Yes. All right, let's just call it. I don't want to keep reading that. Let's just call it an ankle situation with his ankle and hope that it's probably like 1 week before he can resume basketball operations, 2 weeks before we see him actually in action, which I guess works well for our ultimate goal of being mid. We might this way we might go 1-9 in our first 10 games, but it'll go how it does. Man, screw it. I'm gonna go hyper delusion. We win the chip this season. We got New Jerseys all year. I'm not gonna. I gotta get one of those New Jerseys, the black ones. Woo-wee. Man, them things look crisp. I need a signature and everything. 18 shots for Keontae George compared to the 9-11 from Sexton. Yeah. One thing is, when this Keontae George experiment is over, for better or for worse, even if his efficiency doesn't turn around, you can't say he didn't have a chance, because that man had. He will have. This isn't the only night that he will drastically outshoot. Huh? I just saw Logic's comment at the bottom before I got to it. Definitely not fun. We'll get there in a second. Sporty, Spence, you said Finland was dope. More content to come. Make great stuff. You make some great stuff too, man. I'm waiting for the part where you get monetized. Because how many are you at right now? You're like 7 something still? Maybe up some? I don't remember. Let me see. Spence. Sporty Spence. 17 is at 737. Yeah. Yup. But yeah, we're definitely waiting on a documentary to drop in all those little clips along the way, by the way. Just saying. Bro, I'm grinding Black Ops 6 and lurking. I thought about buying it, but I just haven't had the time between editing these videos and stuff. Lee says, sorry, I've been purposely staying on social media too triggering. I'll DM you tomorrow when I wake up from this headache. No, you're good, man. Mental health is one of the most important things that you can put an emphasis on. So if staying on social media helps with that and helps you maintain your level of homeostasis, then that's the most important thing at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I just had to make sure you didn't just, jump off a cliff on me and leave me hanging. That was not going to go well. I was going to have to drag you back from hell. Just to let you know, shove your soul back in your body. I'm not done with you yet. I'm playing, of course, but being healthy and happy is important here. You know what I'm saying? As you said, also, man, I got a new position in my work. Schedule is 11 to 8 p.m., so I haven't been joining it live as often as I should be. Sorry, bro. No, man, you're good. What's the new position, if you don't mind me asking? Brian Stutter MD did a great breakdown of the injury already. Highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Fractured fibula and dislocated ankle. Like a dislocated ankle is one thing, but a fractured fibula, man. Did they say how drastic the fracture was? I'm gonna have to watch a video on it. I don't really have the stomach for it tonight, but I'm probably gonna check it at some point in the early afternoon tomorrow. Our one goal, get to the chip. Now we have an owner in Danny who has a ring. That's one way to look at it. Might take till 2029, 2030. I hope not, but I can never rule that out. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna end soon. TBH, it's been painfully obvious who our point guard is. Yeah. Feeling extremely bad for Hendricks. Hope you make speedy recovery. Absolutely. Love it, brother. Love it. Drag it back from hell. You said. No, but from the actions of the court is pretty bad. Yeah, I know. And like non-contact at that, bro. That's how you know it's like absolutely crazy. Well, we were coming back to Utah after this one road game, so it's not like we were on a road trip or anything. Man. Man. This was not our finest outing. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay because we'll get better because we have no choice. Oh, they updated his stats muse overall. So correction, Keontae George shoots 16 shot attempts a game, not 15. Shooting 27% from the field and shooting 7 threes a game on 24% from 3-point range. Just in case you wanted to see that one out. Larry Markkanen's field goal percentage needs to level out. He's averaging 21.5, 8.5, and 2.5. Shooting 36.2% from the field on 15.7 field goal attempts. Keontae is officially averaging more field goal attempts than Lowry. And then Lowry is shooting 47% from the free throw line, from the 3-point line on 5.7 attempts. So that's positive. It's just that his scoring inside the arc, which I said was going to be rough, is taking a little bit of a hit. I think it will get better. I think it will normalize. Might not be his most efficient season ever, but definitely be a step up. We have Walker Kessler in his 3 games at giving us 10 points and 11.3 rebounds to go along with 1.3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 2.7 blocks, 68% from the field. I like that. I like that a lot. Just to gloss over some other stuff, Jordan Clarkson on 12.5 field goal attempts, 38% from the field, 20% from 3-point range on 5 attempts. Taylor Hendricks before he went down on 6 field goal attempts, 22% from the field, 25% from 3 on 4 3-point attempts. He's like our version of he's a young Jared Vanderbilt temporarily. Hopefully when he comes back, his jumper comes back along with him. We have, wow, that's crazy. 2, 4, 6. Colin averages the 6th most minutes on the team, 17 points, 2.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.3 blocks, shooting 6 of 10.7 from the field. I did not realize it was that efficient after this game, but hey, I like that a lot. I love that a lot, actually. 56% from the field and 40% from 3 on 1.7 attempts per game. So his 3-point attempts will go up, and so his percentage may dip just a little bit. Then you have John Collins giving you 14 and 6, shooting 40% on 12 field goal attempts and 33% on 4 3-point attempts. And then Cody Williams is struggling mightily at the moment. 18% from the field on 3.7 attempts a game, and then 0 of 2 from 3-point range per game. Hasn't hit one yet. But, everything comes with time. It'll come with time. Bryce Sensabaugh. Nobody's done anything like particularly notable outside of those lovely gentlemen. But everything comes with time. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes with time. Screw it, time for a rebuild again. Please, no more. No more. I've had enough. This is the last year. This is the last year I can accept being absolutely cheeks on purpose. Still rebranding. Yeah. I need to learn how to pass the damn ball. I'm sorry. The thing with Lowry is this year I'm affording him all the ability to be as inefficient inside the arc as possible. We know what he is outside the arc as a 3-point shooter, as a catch and shooter. I love that for him. But I need him to have some level of ground game. I need him to be able to put the ball on the deck, 3 dribbles, get to the lane. 3 dribbles, whether he's dunking, whether he's laying up, whether he's getting a floater off, whether he's dumping it off, tossing a lob, whatever it is. I just need a little bit more creation. I don't want to sit there and call it an ISO back because I don't want to see a tween cross behind the back, spin move, skip through that lane at a Larry Markkanen, right? We don't need that. But I remember in my one video that I made last year, he was shooting like in the teens on shots that came after like 3. It was between like 3 and 5 dribbles that came out of him. What the shot that he attempted afterwards, he had like a 70% accuracy rate. Definitely needs to be higher, right? Doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to be league average, but just better. It needs to be a viable shot for him to attempt, to where when it goes up, we don't look at it and say, "Oh, that's ugly." We say, "Okay, he just missed that one. It's going to go in next time." Because once that goes in, his confidence goes up, his efficiency goes up, he's more likely to enter the zone, and then he's just ready to go. But that said, it's going to take some more games. But if we're going to sit there and bank on Larry Markkanen developing more of a dribble game when it comes to scoring, or Keontae George ending the season efficiently, I'm definitely putting my money on Lowry, because this man Keontae is just He's putting me through it. He's putting me through it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, he does. He can be easily overloaded. I will say that. I will say that. Which can get really ugly for us. What do you think of Patty Mills rolling the team? I'm fine with Patty Mills right now. And the thing is, Patty's seen 14 and a half, almost 15 minutes a game, shooting 3 field goals a game, 2 of them being threes. So realistically, he's just taking up minutes that will eventually go up to Isaiah Collier. But the reason why he's not going to Isaiah Collier now is because he's injured. Because you look at Drew Eubanks, who's only played 1 game and played 6 minutes in that game, and that was more so Patty Mills' role with this roster. But since we have injuries and now we have a secondary injury, either Drew Eubanks or Kyle Filipowski is going to be, getting some more minutes because of this. Hopefully, Kyle Filipowski and not Drew Eubanks. No offense to Drew Eubanks, I just want to see more of Flip. I want to see him have opportunities to make mistakes and get better. And then, Patty Mills is still out. So once things kind of normalize, we'll be able to see some more positive minutes across the board. Oh, Dillard's? Yes, I have. I have actually. Nice. I know it paid. The job probably pays pretty decent and it's low key a vibe. I feel like it can get boring being in the room alone though. Because I have mobile patrols on the weekends. That's why Sunday nights it's hard for me. That's why Sunday and Saturday nights usually I do the stream what do you call it? The car streams because I'm in the car and I can't just put a pause for the calls. Tough first games, so we'll wait till December and we have a weird stretch of games where we're unbeaten for 12 games. That'll be the moment, won't it? That will be the moment, and it will come right on cue as well. But 11-8 is all day and exhausting by the time Jets finish. I'm just sleeping. Yeah, I understand that. I definitely understand that. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to take too much of you guys, nights away from you. I myself have this one particular video that I'm recording quite a bit on. I got to decide at one point I want to go ahead and switch from doing live streams as my main videos for the week and slip in 1 or 2 player updates or I guess prediction videos about certain players. I think I want to give it till after the first 10 games of the season play out. So then I have a 1/8 of the season I think is a pretty sizable sample size to make slight predictions, maybe loose windows of what players will be able to do and what players should be expected to do. And then on top of that, we can also just, more properly critique what guys have done in the past. Went through this rebuild before the CP3 D will draft. Mm-hmm. Yep. The month's about to end. I got to see how my numbers are doing. This month has been a down month. I will say that. I thought with the NBA coming back, we would see some more growth, but it just hasn't been as positive as hoped, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Some of it I think is because of the way YouTube pushes out my videos and my content in general. The other part is just mine only appeals to a certain audience, and that's something that I have to work on and work through, progressively with time. But those sort of things will come, and I wouldn't worry too much about it. Kind of like watching the Utah Jazz struggle. It gets better. We're just not there yet. You know what I'm saying? But if there weren't any new suggestions, any new questions, I'll go ahead and close this bad boy out. I want to make our streams usually like roughly 30 to 40 minutes on an hourly basis so that we can get some good talking in, but also I don't end up trailing and talking everybody's heads off pointlessly. And the people that miss the stream come into the stream and they're like, okay, this guy's all over the place. Because I know I had quite a few of those last season. But with any luck, we'll see. So we'll see some more positives. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, and if all hearts and minds are clear, thank you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on, the post-game live stream. We will do it again after the next game, and we will try to catch as many of those as possible. And without any further ado, it's been your boy Wraith Hoops. What's up, Mac? There you are. I knew you was in here somewhere. With that being said, though, good morning, good evening, and good night, no matter where in the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.